And welcome to the Davenport Coaches Show, coming to you live from Utillers in Caledonia, where we're here on Tuesday nights talking football. We're going to also talk a little men's golf later in the show, but starting out with football, head coach Sparky McEwen is here. I'm Rick Berkey. An exciting and very important win Saturday in the Motor City, beating Wayne State 49-14 to level their record overall and in the GLIAC. Coach, it had to be satisfying to you, your staff, and especially your players to go out and play well on both sides of the ball.
We talked about, playing a complete game, in the three phases of the game, special teams, defense, offense, because, Rick, as you know, that's been a struggle this year. And for whatever reason, you can't use any excuses. You have to do that in order to be a good football team and be a successful, program. And this is something that we haven't really struggled with in the past, and I felt like, the inconsistencies has cost us this year. So it was nice, it was rewarding to go in and have the guys perform in all three phases of the game.
The offense played really well. The offensive line, I thought, was exceptional. But your defense, I think, really was the story of the game because they really shut down Wayne State at almost every situation.
They did, and our defense, going back to, even in the GV game, I felt like we were starting to establish ourselves. Okay, we showed some inconsistencies there, early in the season, and GB was able to do some good things in the run game that that has really worried us, early in the season, and now it seems like we're starting to establish ourselves a little bit. We went into the Tech game, and our defense obviously played really well. And then, of late, this game here against Wayne, we knew going in Wayne was going to try and establish the run there. And so the defense has been, doing a really good job for us. And it was nice to see our offense, be a little more consistent. The rest of the way, that's what they're going to have to do in order for us to, have some success. We got to score points. And I continue to talk about that, and we happen to do it against the, Wayne State team that they obviously been struggling, and us coming out, we wanted to get out to a fast start, and we did that, and we sustained throughout the fourth-quarter game.
You ran the ball well, and you threw Juwan Mathis threw for a career-high 285, and including an impressive toss over the middle. They get a man offside. You got a free play. Mathis is going to go long down the right sideline, and man's out there, and it is caught. Touchdown, Davenport! Gurick makes the catch. His first Panther touchdown. Ohio on a 35-yard score, and the Panthers take a 2-score lead. Good seeing Dom Gurick get his first touchdown. He's put a lot of practice in, and he's becoming a threat.
Yeah, he is. Dom did a pretty good job there, and one of the things that we talk about in the receiving room is being a little more consistent there on the offensive side of the ball, and it was just nice, to see that group. They've been working hard. And just trying to figure this thing out. So I'm hoping that we're hitting our stride right now, and it's a good time in the season to do that.
Something we've seen the last 2 weeks, you're going more to the tight end. Clint Walker caught 3 balls, and we'll visit with him a little bit later on. But the tight end's becoming more of your offense.
Yeah, we feel like he's one of the better ones in this conference, and we just, for whatever reason, we just have not been able to get the ball in his hands. But at the same time, when you see Cephas, putting up the numbers that he puts up, a lot of the times, we're in a personnel package with a tight end on the field, and Clint and Luke Snyder, both of those guys, they kind of share the workload of helping cracking him free, and so it was good seeing Clint, have a breakout game.
Davenport home now for the next 4 Saturdays, 4 straight Saturdays at 12 noon at the Farmers Insurance Athletic Complex, including starting this Saturday at noon against Roosevelt. Something else we saw, first time Asher Greger, we've seen him excel in special teams. You put him in the backfield. He showed a couple moves there, Coach, that raised a few eyebrows in the press box.
Yeah, we've got some talent in the backfield, and, Asher's our punt returner as well, and it was really nice to get him in the ball game and give him an opportunity to show what he can do. As you see, You know, he's a small guy, but he plays big, and I'm just so happy that we have him with us. He's a sure-handed guy, you know, and boy, he sure has some quicks.
Had real nice couple interceptions as well on defense. Your DBs picked one off.
You know, going in, you know, that's one of the things we talked about because we hadn't really had another game where we got a couple picks. If you notice, we haven't caused a lot of, you know, fumbles, you know, but we're picking the ball off. But, you know, we really wanted to start causing some more turnovers, you know, with fumbles or interceptions. And it just so happens that, you know, we're doing a good job of picking it off. Now we got to start getting some strip sacks or, you know, punching that ball out.
You seem to come out of the game, at least we didn't notice anybody go off hobbling too much. A little maybe nicks and bruises there, but seemed to come out pretty healthy.
Yeah, just like, you know, any football, you know, team after a game like that, you're going to have some guys that's going to be a little banged up. And the nice thing for us, we were able to get some other players in that game. And like I told the team, I was really excited about that because it gives everyone a chance to put on film what they can do, you know. And I was pleased. I was very pleased, you know, with the efforts from everyone that made the trip. Everyone played, and, you know, it was a good bus ride home.
All right, Coach, later in the show we're going to come back and talk about this week's foe, Roosevelt University. But before we do that, I'm going to bring Clint Walker up here. Tell us a little bit about Clint before we visit with him.
You know, getting Clint, you know, I had a good friend of mine tell me about Clint, you know, while he was playing there, you know, in high school. And, you know, was fortunate to be able to land him here. And he actually has, you know, a sister that's played basketball here, and very talented family. Clint, you know, he went down with an injury. It was last year, and you know, that hurt us. You know, that hurt us. And just getting him back healthy this year, and now he's starting to get extremely comfortable in our scheme, and we're going to continue to do things with him and get the ball to him. But he's a very talented young man.
All right, Coach, stop. I'll go grab some food here at Uchella's. We'll talk with Clint and come back in a little bit later. We'll take a quick break, come back with more of the Davenport Coaches Show from Uchella's in Caledonia. Stay with us. And we continue with the Davenport Coaches Show. Enjoy visiting with Sparky McEwen. He'll be back a little bit later to talk about the Roosevelt game. But our player segment involves Clint Walker, tight end from Goshen, Indiana, redshirt junior. And Sparky McEwen's been taking advantage of his talents lately. Well, we got some problems here, Clint, but we'll get through this here in just a second.
All right.
We want to hear this highlight because it was an important play in the game.
In the pocket, dropping back, he's looking, he's being pressured, throws it off the back foot, caught by Clint Walker to the 30, breaks a tackle, here comes another penalty, 35-40, Clint Walker breaks a tackle, 45-50, he's into Wayne State territory. 40, biggest far for the...
Well, trust me, he made a really good play on that, Clint Walker. Coach told us before, though, the last couple weeks especially, they've been getting the tight ends involved in the offense more, and that's got to feel good to you.
Yes, it does. I mean, it's just fun to get the ball and have room to work with after the fact. So it's been a long time since I've done that. And so to get the ball and have some green grass to work with, it was really fun. It reminded me of high school.
Let's go back to high school. Goshen, Indiana. Tell us about your time at Northridge High School under Chad Epley. And and you had an outstanding career there. What did Coach Epley show you, and what did he help you prepare you for as a collegiate athlete?
A lot of people, when you go to college, will say things like being able to manage your time and like not miss meetings, not be late. But I was already doing that since my freshman year of high school, so that was just kind of habitual to me. But at high school, my senior year, we went to state for the first time, so that was fun to do with all my senior boys.
Coach mentioned that a friend of his recommended you. Tell us about your first contact with Davenport, because my guess is you didn't know too much about Davenport University before you heard from them, did you?
No, sir. But my sister actually went here. She played basketball. She was on the women's team for 4 years, so she kind of connected me with her head coach at the time, connected me with Coach Sparky, so he was a middleman for me. And
so you've been on campus before you came here, right? Had you been on campus here before?
Yes, sir.
All right, again, right now your favorite athlete is Ray Lewis. Where did that come from?
Oh, I just like his mentality. I mean, if that's on my bio, yeah. I mean, I know he's a defensive player, but I mean, I don't. Compared to a lot of collegiate athletes, I don't pay attention too much to the professional sports and even other colleges. It's just like a personal thing. So, but I like his mentality and his killer instinct.
Clint, you were injured last year. Tell us about how you handle that psychologically and that time away from the game that you love so much.
I mean, I've been injured. I've had hip surgery, hand surgery, and last year was my foot. So last year I was able to bounce back. So I was only out for 3 games. So I was able to bounce back after that. I mean, I don't think about getting hurt. It's just a matter of being hurt, not being able to play, and then when I'm healthy, do what I can do.
What's your biggest strength, do you think, as a player? What's an area that you really have to get better at?
My biggest strength would be, I think I'm versatile. I can block well. I can run routes. I can catch. I can do most of the things. I can do it all, like on the field. I can play defense too, and I can tackle, but I haven't done that in about 4 years. So. But a weakness.
Let's hope you don't make a lot of tackles on offense, because that can only be a bad result, right?
Correct, yeah.
All right, what do you got to work on still?
I'm still working on my football IQ. My coach helps me with like just knowing football more from like just a football IQ perspective.
Clint Walker, redshirt junior from Goshen, Indiana. You're a business major, Clint. What are you thinking about doing with that degree once you're done at Davenport?
I get asked that a lot, and I tell everybody I don't know.
That's all right to not know.
But I do have an entrepreneurial type of mindset, so.
Would you like to have your own business someday?
Someday.
Would you like to be still in the Midwest, or are you willing to go anywhere?
I'm willing to go anywhere.
What do you do in your time away from school and away from football, just for your own personal enjoyment?
Really just hanging with the guys, playing basketball, playing catch, pool, ping pong, things like that.
Who's the best basketball player in your dorm there, or your apartment?
On my team or in my apartment? In my apartment, my roommate. He's on the basketball team.
Oh, is it? Who's your roommate?
A guy named Kurt.
Well, I guess he should be the best basketball player.
Yes, he should.
You were a GLIAC All-Academic Excellence team last year, so obviously your academics are important to you. Where did that come from?
It started, my parents were adamant about me being on top of my grades in high school, and that just kind of carried over to college.
You were redshirt as a true freshman here. That had to be difficult for someone who's played sports his whole life and all of a sudden come here and you weren't playing. How'd you handle that challenge?
Well, leading into fall camp my first year, I realized I had a torn labrum in my hip, so I just decided to get the hip surgery right then and there. So I was really just kind of focusing on recovering and rehab.
What was the hardest part of recovering from that surgery?
I mean, it's the hip, so it's kind of difficult to like walk, crutches, that whole process.
All right, Clint, tell us about how this victory Saturday hopefully sparks this team to put off a few wins in a row here.
It was fun. It was fun to see all the guys eating and doing what they can do. It seemed like we kind of strung everything together, and so it was kind of fun, and we're just going to build momentum off of that going into this week.
All right, Clint, thanks for stopping by. Go enjoy getting some of that good Uccello's food here, all right? It's a good visit. We look for big things for number 5 again. Clint Walker, tight end from Goshen, Indiana. Thanks, Clint.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break, come back, talk a little men's golf here in the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. We continue with the Davenport Coaches Show. Switching gears a little bit, talking men's golf right now is men's golf coach Andrew Ioanou joins us right now. First year coaching at Davenport after a successful run at Siena Heights. And first tell us about your time at Siena Heights and as a coach and what you learned there about the coaching profession.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a great place to get to refine my craft a little bit and learn how to do the job. I can't say enough good things about them. It's sad that they're closing, but I love that place. I went there and played as a player, and so definitely will miss the Siena Heights, but it's a great place, and I have a lot of fond memories there for sure.
Andrew, you led right into my next question. Your alma mater isn't just giving up golf or giving up sports. It's closing down. Mm-hmm. You will not have an alma mater. Sorry to pound it in, but you won't have an alma mater. How do you deal with that? I mean, that seems like a void.
Yeah, it's definitely sad for sure. A lot of good people that work there for sure right now, but at the end of the day, I guess they made the decision that was right for them, and it's definitely sad in my eyes.
When did you see that coming, or did how far away did you realize, hey, this could end up, as bad as possible here?
I had no idea. I don't think many people did, but yeah, definitely sad, and hopefully all of those people find good jobs and land on their feet. I'm sure they will. They're all good people over there for sure.
Well, like you certainly have here. Tell us about your first contact with Davenport and what appealed to you about coming over here and coaching the men's golf team.
Well, it was just a great opportunity to get to coach some great athletes. I mean, I knew right away that they were a good bunch. I'm definitely very lucky. I inherited a good team. So, and then obviously, meeting with Paul and with Rhonda, and it's definitely a very attractive place to come. And then living in Grand Rapids too is also cool. So, yeah, love it.
Well, you had a good season here in the fall. You finished top 5 in all 5 tournaments this fall. Tell us about a couple guys on your team who really stood out.
Oh man, we have a kid named Louis Wu on the team. He's from Taiwan. We call him Louis Legend. He's an unbelievable human being. Yeah. He's very talented for sure. And Justin Grimard, he won a tournament this fall, his first collegiate win. And then Caden Kwan also, first collegiate win. But I can't say enough good things about all of my guys. They're all great. All really talented players, and we're just looking to build on what we did in the fall and come out hard in the spring.
You had good depth also, which showed off when you won the Chicago State Windy City Invitational a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely. It was some really hard conditions out there, so you had to have some grit to you out there. And yeah, they did great. Yeah, it was awesome. It was my first win at Davenport as well, so obviously it was good to get the first one, and we're just looking to get the second and the third and the fourth and all of them.
Coming from NAIA Siena Heights to Division II, any difference from coaching standpoint from your time or how you had allotted? Or is it pretty much the same?
It's pretty much the same. Yeah. There's not a ton of difference. It's still the same game and everything. It's just maybe a little bit better quality of player, but other than that, it's pretty much the same thing on my end. That
leads into how you get those quality players in recruiting around West Michigan. You certainly expanded your range there here at Davenport now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we have a lot of kids from all over the world. Got a couple kids from Taiwan, Colombia, England, Quebec, a couple kids from Canada. So yeah.
How do you find these guys overseas, Andrew?
There's a lot of different agencies and stuff like that contact you and that kind of bring those kids to you. So and then you're just looking at WAGR ranking and stuff like that, which is like the World Amateur Golf ranking. So looking at stuff like that, and you just find the guys.
Is it hard to commit to a young man that is sight unseen? You haven't seen him in person. All you see is his stats and maybe a video or two?
Well, I think you're lucky in golf, right? Because the scores are the scores. So it's definitely easier, I think, in my end than like a basketball or football or something like that.
Tell us about your adjustment. How you mentioned living in Grand Rapids is nice. Moving over to the west side, which rhymes with best side.
Yep, I agree. I like it over here. It's great over here. I definitely have had a lot of fun, and I've met a lot of cool people, and I definitely I have a girlfriend out here now, and it's been great.
Great. So you still get to play much, or you're involved with coaching all the time?
Yeah, definitely. Not so much during the season, but in the summers and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I play all the time.
Andrew, it's great to have you here. Best of luck in the future.
Thanks
for stopping by.
Appreciate it.
Go have some more of that Uccello's food.
Oh, for sure.
Andrew Ioanou, men's golf coach. Take a break. Come back one more time with Sparky McEwen here on the Davenport Coaches Show here at Uccello. Final segment of the Davenport Coaches Show. Davenport's Coach Sparky McEwen rejoins us right now and getting ready for this Saturday's game against Roosevelt at home. Roosevelt University, 12 noon. Davenport home for 4 straight Saturdays to wrap up the regular season. And again, all of them at the Farmers Insurance Athletic Complex, all at 12 noon. Sparky, it's got to feel good to know you are home for 4 straight weeks.
When you look at our schedule, and it was just a daunting schedule. To start the first 6 weeks out the way that we have in regards to what it looked like, and you got 2 games that you lost by a total of 3 points, and this can look extremely favorable going into this last quarter of our season. And unfortunately, we're sitting here at 500, but it's that could have, would have, type of look, But with that being said, we've put ourselves in a position where we're at home now, and we have an opportunity to do some good things here at home and see what happens.
Roosevelt defeated Quincy in their first game of the year this year, 23-21, dropped 5 straight since then, falling to Northern Michigan last week in Chicago. You're familiar with Roosevelt from playing them the last couple of years. What kind of team are you going to expect this Saturday?
Very familiar. Have a new coach, but he's been there. And when you watch their team, they've been close, and he's the new head coach there, but he's now going to establish his culture. And I know they have a number of transfers there, and they've lost a few good key players off their roster, and it's hard to replace some of those types of players, but from the time that they were Robert Morris when we played them here, I think it was my first year or second year, they've always had the ability to go out and recruit to the greater Chicago area, Chicagoland, and get some talent, so defensively they're going to get after you, they're going to fly around, they have a pretty good, secondary there that's fast, up front that cause you some issues. if you don't take care of your business with your scheme. On the other side of the ball, they've, if you notice, they've been one of the better passing teams, in our conference, so we're definitely going to
throwing 30 passes a game.
Yeah, on average, and they have a young man that's, playing quarterback that, I really enjoy this young man. He is going to be a beast, in this conference. And, so they're starting to do some really good things schematically with him.
And Zach Zella, by the way, he's thrown for over 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, and, the thing about that is he's very comfortable. He's a very decorated quarterback coming out of his high school days, so they've got a winner at that position, and they've got a pretty good offensive line as well, so we're going to have our hands full. They got some speedsters at the receiver position, and our guys know, just like the Wayne State game, we like to, make it about us, and worrying about what we can do. Because our guys know that we're starting to trend in the right direction, and we like to keep that going.
They have one main ball carrier, Cam Davis, carries the bulk of by far the bulk of it. What is harder to prepare for, Coach? A team that has one dominant runner, or maybe guys that have 2 or 3 that they spread it around a little bit?
Well, we like to look at, scheme. If you have a scheme like Northern Michigan, where you're going to have a couple, runners like what you're talking about right now, it's tough to stop that kind of scheme, when you start looking at these offenses where you got maybe one dominant runner, it's easy, I think personally, to hone in on a guy like that, but when you have a number of guys in a given scheme, that can hit you from multiple places, it's tough to defend that.
They have a couple good receivers, especially Norian Espadron. He's caught 30 balls already and averages over 13 yards per reception. Yeah,
he's electric. They definitely want to get the ball to him, and he's one of 3 of them, that we feel that can cause a problem for us. Our DBs are going to have to be on their job, and up front, our box is going to have to get some pressure, on this young man, because if you don't get pressure on him, he's used to playing in big games. He's won a state championship as a high school quarterback, and he's got unbelievable poise in the pocket, and guys like that, they scare you, because they're young and they're hungry, to show you what they can do.
Well, Keontae Nixon, of course, your outstanding receiver, was an all-conference performer last year at Roosevelt, so it's got to be a special challenge for him. You have to kind of, when the guys are going against their former team, sometimes guys get too hyped up. You kind of try to dial them down a little bit to stay within their game, or don't you worry about that with Keontae?
It's something that you bring that up because we talked about as a staff. In the past, we've had some players that, have gone out against their former team. If you think about Myron had a huge day against Wayne State a few years ago. Julius Wilkerson had a huge, game against them. When we had Cy here, Cy didn't fare so well, when he went back to play against, his former, team in Ferris. And then Michael Rohr, he went back to play against Saginaw. Sometimes you can, get a little too pumped up, and for the moment. And now all of a sudden you got Keontae, and then you also have Isaiah Grant. Isaiah Grant, remember, he's a guy, but he's been on IR for us. He was a really good football player for him as well. So I just, when that happens, when you go back to play, your former team, I just tell the guys, let the game just happen. Don't try and do too much. And sometimes you try to do too much, and you can have a big problem on that day.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck Saturday. We look forward to hopefully talking to you next Tuesday about the 2nd win in a row for the Panthers. All right, that'll wrap up this week's edition of the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's of Caledonia. Don't forget, stop out here. They got a great place. All these massive TV screens everywhere. Fantastic food, wonderful service. It's all here, Uccello's of Caledonia. For Coach Sparky McEwen, I'm Ray Perkins saying thanks for joining us, and go Panthers.